Many people have shown you Washington, D.C., but no one has shown you Washington, D.C. quite like this. So tonight, we're in Washington, D.C., and there are a lot of great ways to view this city. A lot of people have shown you this city, I'm sure. You can see the way it looks, but I'm telling you, one of the best ways to view Washington, D.C. is at night. If you've never been out here at night, let me get across the street. If you've never been to this city at night, you're missing a treat. So what I want to show you is Washington, D.C., probably as you haven't seen it before. I want to show you the main sites, those great places that you see, even going back to January the 6th at its worst. I want to show it to you at its best in D.C. at night. There's no city that is quite as pretty as D.C. at night. First place on the list, one of the first places that you need to see if you're going to go outside and walk around Washington, D.C. at night is the Capitol. Now, a lot of time the news media will show you the Capitol building. So a lot of people actually think that the Capitol is the White House. I'm going to show you the White House. But first, I want you to take a look at the Capitol. The way the Capitol is set up, the way the Capitol looks at night. It's really beautiful. It's well lit. It's a great place to be. People out here walking around, just enjoying the weather, enjoying the scenery. Even at night, there are tourists out. It's a wonderful place to visit. So I lived in Washington, D.C. for 17 years, lived and worked in the city, and at no point did I ever stop being in awe of the Capitol building and the National Mall. So I want to show you my favorite way to see the National Mall, my favorite way to look at the Capitol, which is at night. Now I know you can go do tours in the daylight, but if you ever want to just come back at night, take a look at this Capitol building. Look at this behind me, look over my shoulder. You can see how pretty that is, the warm glow. Just really a great experience if you come out here at night. So what you could do is, if you don't know this, you can actually walk around out here at night. You can walk around in the daylight as well. But on the grassy mall, the lawn out in front of the Capitol, and the Capitol extends about a mile all the way down. You can see the other monuments down. We're gonna go take a closer look at those behind me. But this is just a wonderful place to come out to if you get a chance to come out here at night. I've always enjoyed coming out to this place, just sitting down quietly, and it's really peaceful. There's kids out here playing right now. It's just a really wonderful place to be if you get the opportunity to come out. To be completely honest with you, after the tumultuous events of January the 6th, 2020, it is really pleasing to be able to come out here to the Capitol and see everything the way I've always known it to be. In the almost 20 years I lived in D.C., this is what I've known the Capitol to look like. This is the feeling that I've known it to have, especially in the summer. Not so great in the winter because it's pretty cold, but in the summer, there's no better place to come at night to take a stroll and just relax. I've shown you the Capitol. Now let's take a walk down the mall and go see the rest of the monuments that's out here and hit a couple of other sites that if you're going to do the tourist circuit, these are all the places you'd want to see. Again, typically you'd be looking at them in daylight. Wow, this is a lot of bugs. I don't know if they're showing up on camera, but they're being drawn into the light. Typically you do this in the day, here I'm doing it at night. Wow, a lot of bugs. And so if you're going to continue your night tour of Washington, D.C., after you see the Capitol, you have to go and make it to the Washington Monument, which is also well lit. There are people out here on scooters. There's an ice cream truck. Let me flip this around so you can see the people out here eating ice cream. It's about 11 o'clock at night. The Washington Monument was built to commemorate George Washington, the first president of the United States.
Construction on the monument began in 1848, but was halted for a period of 23 years due to lack of funds, struggle over control, and American Civil War.
So it's early August. The tourist season still hasn't ended. You have a lot of tourists out here. You have a lot of people out here just kind of walking around. Beautiful temperature out here tonight. Just really great. So if you get a chance again, if you can make it to DC, come out at night, walk around the National Mall, look at all the monuments. It's really a great experience. You can actually walk up to the Washington Monument, and in the daylight when it's open, you can take an elevator. There's an elevator to take you up to the top. You can get a really great view of the whole Washington D.C. area. You can't do that at night, but you can definitely enjoy it from the outside.
The newest monument on the National Mall is the World War II Memorial. Dedicated in 2004, the World War II Memorial consists of 56 pillars that honor the states and the U.S. territories. It also is dedicated to the Americans who served in the armed forces and civilians during the war. The World War II Memorial is one of the most impressive memorials to view at night. It is well lit, it has a water fountain, and it's also a very touchable and approachable memorial as you can walk through the entire memorial, see all the pillars, sit down by the fountain. It's a very approachable sight. At the end of the National Mall rests the Lincoln Memorial. Built in honor of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, this is by far the most impressive monument and memorial on the mall. The Lincoln Memorial, which is built in the form of a neoclassical Greek temple, contains a very large seated sculpture of Abraham Lincoln and inscriptions of two of his famous addresses, the Gettysburg Address and his second inaugural address. The Lincoln Memorial has been the site of many great speeches throughout American history, to include Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, which he delivered on August 28, 1963.
There's so much to do and so much to see in Washington, D.C. This is night tour. It's really just to show you the monuments. If you come back out here to the National Mall during the daylight, of course, you'll get opportunity to go into all the Smithsonian museums. The great thing is that they're all free. Yes, all the Smithsonian museums in Washington, D.C. are free. Someone correct me in the comments down below if I get that wrong. Maybe the Air and Space, one of those you may have to pay for. But the vast majority, if not all, are free. The zoo is free, which is really wonderful. The National Zoo in DC is a phenomenal zoo. It is also free. And so there's a lot of great things to do in this city for free that you don't have to pay for. I just want to show you the monuments out here on the National Mall, but you come back in the daylight, there's a lot to see during the daylight as well. Another key thing I think I've already pointed out is that these sites out here on the mall are pretty far apart. So there's not a lot of great parking. There's better parking at night than there is during the day. In the day, really, I would suggest you take public transit or take some form of a taxi or an Uber to get out here. I wouldn't suggest at all that you try to park here. You just won't be able to find a spot. But there's not a lot of parking at night either. It's better than the day. So if you're gonna walk around, you have to be prepared. Of course, stay hydrated, bring something to drink, make sure you have on proper shoes. Make sure you're ready for the walk. It's several miles, I think, if you try to hit all these locations, walking to and fro, back and forth from one site to the other. So over my shoulder is the White House. The president's still up right now. So yeah, we are finishing up and about to head back now. But yeah, we got the White House in here. Got it all in. There we go, in between us. All right, let's go.
The Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial sits right off the National Mall. It's a statue that celebrates the life of Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights leader. The monument is a granite statue of Martin Luther King Jr. and also includes the Stone of Hope. The inspiration comes from his I Have a Dream speech. Out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. Washington, D.C. is the capstone of American culture, a beautiful display of American history and ideals. It is one of my favorite cities, and if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend a visit.